Welcome to ORPtv. I'm Craig Stagner. We're coming to you from the Rad Autolift studio in Nixon, Missouri. It is Sunday, October 14th, and it's going to sound like a broken record, but we have again been the victim of some terrible weather for racing. Matter of fact, there was almost no racing going on in the Ozarks because of it. The list of races that were either rained out or postponed because of the weather: Ozark Raceway Park, Bonneterre, Centerville, Mocan. So all four of the drag strips that are in the area that we cover were rained out. Matter of fact, today, Kansas International Drag in Wichita was supposed to be running. Maddie, they're the track manager, posted a picture of what looked like Minnesota. The way the snow and kind of blustery, cold, almost frosted over track, not good for drag racing. Not even good for most of us who don't even want to see it, let alone have it on your drag strip. So the drag racing was off yesterday. Bolivar Speedway was supposed to have an enduro race. That was postponed. Lebanon Midway, they were hours away from running. Too muddy, they couldn't go. Lake Ozark Speedway put off their racing. Lebanon I-44 was supposed to have an event including a swap meet yesterday. Too muddy. Springfield Raceway had a event planned yesterday for the Willard High School project graduation. That has been postponed till a later date. Hillbilly Bump and Run in Fairgrove, too muddy for the cars there. Spokes BMX was supposed to be running today. Again, too muddy. So a lot of those tracks, some of them just flat canceled the events because the remaining schedule just isn't allowing for a reschedule. Some of those are postponing it till a later date. We spoke yesterday with Mitch Chance from Ozark Raceway Park about some of the concerns or issues or some of the things that go into canceling an event versus not canceling it when you have inclement weather. If you didn't watch that, Mitch gave a lot of good insight about some of the concerns and factors that go into making that decision, whether it's canceling it totally or just the timing of it. What we did see yesterday, Nevada. Now, they had an enduro race, but they were able to have theirs. The difference between the one at Bolivar is a paved track, so slick conditions. Nevada is a dirt track. It wasn't too bad in Nevada, so they were able to run. The enduro race winner there, their first ever one, Kevin Leverich with the win there. After that, it was a little sketchy on the finishing order. I'm sure that they'll have a updated version of the results, and we'll get that to you as soon as possible. What I know about Bodark yesterday was that there was some sort of racing going on last night. It looked to be maybe B-Mods, Midwest Mods. Their page didn't have an event showing, so I'm not sure what it was that was going on, but I know that they were doing some live video last night. In the event that we can get some of those results, we'll get that to you. If you're one of our watchers and you have a connection there to Bodark, and you can tell them to reach out to us and let us help them promote their events and share their winners, that would be outstanding. Lucas Oil Speedway, they had an event scheduled for Friday, Saturday. This was going to be a big one. The Bema Clash of Champions. The Bema Clash of Champions. It was supposed to be Friday and Saturday. Friday, just too much rain. So they postponed or canceled Friday's event, and we're going to make it a one-day event. So they were going to put all the racing into one day. Well, that almost worked. They got some of the racing done. The MLRA race, the Fall Nationals, they were able to complete their race. That was Chad Simpson with the win, followed by Jack Sullivan and Raymond Merrill. That's your top three in it. Chad Simpson not only won yesterday, but he also won his second MLRA season championship. So congratulations to Chad. That's going out in style for yesterday. Win the event and win the season championship all in one race. So big day for Chad. The B-Mod Clash of Champions got through the heats and some of the features, but when it came to the main, they postponed it or delayed it. Rain delay. Ultimately, just weren't going to be able to run it. So what they did is they based the finals off of their A feature lineup. Now, what exactly that meant, I'd be speculating, and I don't want to do that. What I do know is that it was based off the A feature lineup, with the win, Andy Bryant, second place, Chris Jackson, and third place, Luke Neiman. So I know that they awarded some of their bonuses based on who would have done what. I know that I remember seeing Chris Jackson had a $1,500 bonus, and I think that Andy Bryant had a bonus. So it didn't go the way they wanted it to, but what I did see was that some of the people were really happy to get to see some racing. Good time at Lucas Oil Speedway. I'm sure they wish they could have got that event finished up, but they did the best they could yesterday. Now, on the local tracks, as we said, the ORP, Bonneterre, Centerville, Mocan, Ballera Speedway, Midway, Lake Ozark, Lebanon I-44, Springfield Raceway, and Hillbilly Bump and Run, as well as Monette and all the other tracks that have finished up for the year. As soon as those final point standings are available, we'll get those to you for the season champions, as well as some of the tracks, the drag strips, like ORP has the shootout champion. So there's actually multiple winners at that drag strip, and some of the other classes have different things too. We'll get those posted just as soon as possible. On the pro scene, motocross yesterday had their biggest payday event of the year. This is kind of almost their Super Bowl of the season, the Monster Energy Cup in Las Vegas at the Sam Boyd Stadium. This is a totally separate event from the rest of the season. So, matter of fact, they got a while off before they even start. This is a $1 million potential win. So you had a few different classes. You had the some kind of minis. You had the young kids that were like 9 to 17. Then you had the amateur all-stars, and then you had the pro class. In the amateur all-stars, Joe Shimoda with the win there, Jalik Swoll second, and Derek Drake third. Those are names to remember because as they were going through the list of previous winners, you had winners like Cody Webb, you had Austin Faulkner, who's won it twice. These are guys that have gone on to be big-time pro riders that have won that. So Joe Shimoda was a fun rider to watch from Japan that come over and wins that. So the pro class, now what they did here is they had 3 motos. You had to win all 3 to win the $1 million. So with that potential, they drew 2 fans. I don't know how they got to those 2 fans, but at some point before the race, they had 2 fans. They put them in a Monster Energy like phone booth, one of those cash grab deals, and the fans blowing it, and each one of them grabbed money. The one who got the most money was the selected fan. So you had one fan who grabs more cash than the other. So he's sitting there watching to see who wins the first moto, which you hope is that it isn't like a fluke and that some of the top guys crash and somebody who normally would be not one of your favorites to win wins it, because then they'd have to win the next 2. Lucky for this fan, Eli Tomac wins the first moto. Comes out second moto. Eli Tomac wins again. So now this fan knows all he needs is for Eli Tomac to win again, and he's getting $1 million. And Eli Tomac's teammate, Joey Savaggi, was super fast yesterday. It was tough. Tomac had his hands full with him. With 300 yards left in this race, Tomac makes the pass, or gets around him anyway, and takes the win, wins $1 million. The fan wins $1 million. Good time was had by all. The kid was pretty excited. Looked like a young man that won this. And when they spoke with him, he said, "Drinks are on me." I'm not sure if he thought that out real well, but anyway, he has a lot more friends today because he grabbed the cash in the box and then won $1 million thanks to Eli Tomac. So that was a lot of fun last night watching from Las Vegas. Camping World NASCAR is in Talladega. It's kind of odd that the Xfinity race they're not racing there, but the trucks did. So the Camping World race yesterday, Timothy Peters with the win, Myatt Snyder with second, David Gilliland third. Then the Monster Cup will be today. So that's Talladega. That's coming up here. By the time you see this, that should be pretty well wrapped up. NHRA is in Carolina today. They're at the Carolina Nationals. And that really is it. So where we're at now in the seasons are pretty far into NASCAR, getting down to just a few races left to crown their champion. Monster Energy Supercross is about to start up. On the local scene, Nitro Arena Cross is about a week and a half away from getting started, and that'll be making their season opener in Little Rock. And all the racetracks are finishing up. So we're kind of in the transition period here of going from the seasons ending, some of them, and then Monster Energy and a lot of the motocross stuff is just starting. Of course, we'll get you all that information just as soon as we can and keep you up to date. As you know, on the top of the page, the schedule is always there. Brought to you by All Parts Auto Salvage. Let them help you fix your car. That's always there so you can see. We try to update that as quickly as we can and as accurately and timely. So we always post on there what time it was updated when weather starts being a concern. So, but of course, always go to that page if you need to for definitive answers. But we try to keep it really up to date. We want to thank our sponsors, All Parts Auto Salvage, Schaefer Motors, Sigs and Swigs, D&D Concrete and Construction, Quality Truck Sales and Quality Detail Services, Josh's Mobile Auto Repair and More, JK's Auto Repair, M&G Signs, Priority Welding and Fabrication, Collins Studio Tattoo and Spa, Precision Lawn Care, and Rebel Saints Barber and Style. Now, I do have something else we want to talk about, but it needs to be what we finish with today because this is important to me. Ozarks Raceway Park, the Ozarks, and a lot of people lost a very important man in their lives, whether it's from the point of just being a friend, as being a mentor, and as a drag racer, watching him over the years. Kenny Mcdaniel, yesterday passed away. He'd had a stroke just not too long ago. He's had a lot of health issues, but from all accounts, he was as strong as a bear and had overcome a lot of them. So, to be honest, I knew Kenny a little bit. I knew him when I would see him, and he was always very, very kind to me and polite. I didn't know him the way I wished I could have, because everything I have read with the tributes to Kenny, that people are saying about him on his page and on our page and on the Ozark Raceway Park page, have been so kind. He was, by all accounts, a God-fearing, loving man who didn't know a stranger, who would help anyone in the pits. I know that one of the people really touched by Kenny's love and guidance, and certainly will miss him, is Larry Hunt. I spoke with Larry through text just a little bit yesterday and asked him if he'd like to be on and talk about it, and he wasn't ready yet, which just kind of speaks to how close Larry felt to Kenny. He even shared with me that when Larry himself lost his dad years ago, Kenny became like a father figure to him, took him in under his wing, gave him a lot of race help, and just was there for him like a dad. Kenny Mcdaniel was, from what everyone says, just strong as a bear and gentle as a cub. A wonderful man. He spent part of his life, he was a graduate of Buffalo High School, graduated in 1965, and working on cars was something that was really important to him, as he was an automotive instructor at the Dallas County Career Center. So Kenny helped a lot of racers, a lot of mechanics, and what he meant to the people that he knew can't be overstated how important he was. So, born August 7th, 1947. We lost Kenny yesterday, October 13th, 2018. Kenny Mcdaniel, rest in peace, my friend. Kenny was 71 years old. For ORPtv, I'm Craig Stagner. We'll see you next week.